Hi everybody. Today is Friday, December 1st. Today I want to make a short little video, a little bit more lighthearted, okay, about things that I've learned in discovering more information about who I was married to and things that actually had influenced how I was behaving and how I was feeling from childhood. The floodgates have opened and I've had a lot of new information come forth, and I'm focusing now on talking about those red flags, those terms, and a little bit about how I was able to release my will and deal with my marriage at the time until I could get out of it, okay? So today's going to be a little tiny bit more lighthearted in a way to try to illustrate the point, because let's face it, this material is very, very deep and heavy. And in a way it's like, if you're not taught or have any knowledge whatsoever about the psyche and behaviors, then it's like you're in elementary school trying to understand college information. So be patient with yourself, and I will try to make it as lighthearted as I can by using some gifts and a little bit of humor. I have come to realize that I was in fact married to a narcissist, and I don't know what the official diagnosis is. He might have been of a lesser degree. Nevertheless, there were issues that were very, very oppressive. One of the best things that an empath can do is connect to nature. This is basically what kind of saved me. As I came out of my depression and I was able to have a very enlightening dream, right, where I felt very, very different, and I discovered that I had an ability to affect things, my will was released, my energy was released. And a lot of times with women, we are conditioned to be oppressed and to be subservient. And part of this was kind of, as I'm looking at it now, examining it from my childhood and my narcissistic parent. They're very clingy, they're very manipulative in different ways, okay? They're kind of smothering. And you feel obligated, of course, to please them. They're feeding you, right? And so this can carry on into adulthood, and then it manifests in different ways with someone that you get into a relationship with. These are codependent personalities. They just manifest in different ways. As I was discovering my will and I was releasing it, I was practicing at an altar. I created a space where I would light a candle, and then I purchased a few books, and then I got one on Wicca, and I began to see where my connection to nature just was regenerating, okay? It's very, very generating. To be out in nature, to have things from nature in the house. Like I have a bowl of dirt, a bowl of water, and I was collecting stones and I was holding them. Empaths need that. Now, if you're an empathetic person, that's not quite the same thing as being an empath. They are what's called a sensitive. They're more sensitive than the average person who may be empathetic, and they are of a lesser or a greater degree. So I'm at the high end, I'm of a greater degree, and it does get to be like a double-edged sword. When I get home, I have to literally unplug from the outside world, and I need to veg out. Sensory deprivation in the bedroom with the lights dim, or a candle burning to help me regenerate with fire. When I can, I go outside and put my feet on the ground. Otherwise, I have to do these other things. It saved me. Well, the dream saved me, and then stepping onto the nature-based path. This is something that you really need to highly encourage everyone, really. We've all lost our connection to nature, and it really does give us the negative ions we need to release, and to balance. That's what life is about, balance. Okay, so at one point, when I was going to college, and I'd already been in counseling for about a year, and I told my husband, I'm not going to give you my money anymore. I mean, you reneged on our agreement years ago. It was supposed to be temporary. So, yeah, the time has come, and I'm not giving it to you anymore. He was not the type to yell and scream or throw fits, but he would definitely berate, degrade, devalue, and threaten. That was hard, but I was working on releasing my will on a regular basis, and I'd already felt like I had released a lot of garbage and stress through this dream I had. Okay? Gigantic somatic release. I'm feeling like a different person, and I'm not going to be a doormat anymore. Why would you do that for love anyway? It's carried over from childhood. All right? So, that's one of the things that I eventually learned. And I'm seeing that now, right? What was my part? It's two of us in this. What was my part in it? So, I was going to college, so he was carrying us and struggling to pay the bills. We were on economic assistance of one kind or another, a lot. So I'm back to work, and I'm working part-time on call as a substitute teacher, and I'm working 5 days a week. And, I'm getting my first paycheck, and he's starting to gripe about the bills. So I start to recognize there seems to be a pattern. Even when I was in college, he would be griping. So I thought, okay, I'm going to pay attention, like I'm going to watch the clock, right? And I began to mark the calendar. Because being married to someone with a codependent personality who is stingy, some of them overspend. But my mother was the stingy kind, and so was my husband at the time. I'm going to mark the calendar. Sure enough, every 45 days, oh, wow, this is like clockwork. I could see it after just 2 months. Man, I've caught a pattern. This is amazing. Pay attention, all right? These things will happen in cycles. They'll keep coming back. Like a boomerang. So I began to watch the calendar, and I began to watch and wait. And when you do that, fasten your seatbelts and buckle up, because it's going to be a bumpy ride. Here we come with the devaluing, the degrading, the berating, and the threats. I was prepared. And I said, no, I told you I'm not giving you my money. I'd only been working for about 2 months, I think. And he was not only complaining that I didn't go out and get a $30,000 a year job, I was working on call as a substitute because it was the same hours that the kids were in school. We couldn't afford daycare. So, I just said, no. I stuck to my guns. I said, no, I told you I'm not giving you my money anymore. When the kids need shoes or whatever, that's what I'll spend the money on. But no, I'm not giving you my money for bills anymore. I told you. So after a couple of months, the first month my familiar got very ill, and then he died. And so then I had a hospital bill for him. And then we had to figure out how to bury him. So then I found a pet cemetery and had to pay for that. There was just a lot going on, and I was still dealing with this. And I sometimes had some, very stressful moments. And but I would apologize to the kids about being so uptight and stressed. it was upsetting that we had to, they were very upset that we were losing our familiar. So the second month came, and he's asking again, and he's berating and devaluing. He threatens not to pay the bills and not to buy groceries. So at first, I got triggered. And I thought, oh, now what do I do? And I just said, okay. Now, I knew he was probably just blowing smoke, and he was not going to do that, because we have to see what we're doing. We have to have air conditioning or heat. We have to have lights so we can, cook and all that. And so I thought, if he does, in fact, I'll just go downtown and I'll pay the $75 plus a reconnect fee. But I'm not turning over my $800 check. So I had already gone and gotten my own checking account at a separate bank. Okay. So he didn't have access to it. Also, I mentioned to him, I'll have to call the Department of Social Services and the Child Protective Services section and let them know that you're announcing that you're not going to be buying groceries for the family, and then we'll have another visit over here at the house with you about neglect. And so that shut it down. He was deathly afraid of that, deathly afraid of the police, and he never ever wanted anything that would attract those people coming to the house. So it shut it down. However, I then, of course, had to start seriously planning how I was going to gather enough paychecks over the next couple of months to really walk off and leave and get my own apartment and announce to my daughter it's time for us to leave. That's another story. But yeah, when you're married to a codependent personality, it's like a roller coaster, okay? And it's not the normal ups and downs that occur in a healthy marriage, where you have an adult discussion, an adult disagreement without, yelling or screaming or insults or threats, and the two of you try to sit down and work it out together. It's just a almost daily occurrence of one thing after another that keeps coming back and repeating. So, yeah. Recognize these things that are happening. Keep track. Keep it in mind. And if you're keeping a journal, I suggest you put it in a place where it's locked and you have the key. All right. Stay tuned, please, because my Patreon will be finished in a couple of weeks. And I will be giving you the link where you can go and start actually becoming a member. You'll have access to these videos that I'm going to be making that will be an online course, arming you with the knowledge about how to not only understand the language and the behaviors, the terms, but just all kinds of ways that you can deal with situations, and how to connect to nature and release your will, and all kinds of different ways that you might need to navigate your situation. And I'll have different tiers, okay? So the first one right now is what I'm working on, and it's only going to be $3 a month for you to access videos with very valuable, helpful information for empaths and statistics, which you need to know, and I cannot give away for free here on YouTube anymore. You will have to become a member so that you can get armed with the information and the knowledge that you need, okay? So that you're not walking blind into a situation. All right. Have a wonderful day. Stay tuned. Like, share, subscribe, and I will see you soon.